The Cigar Nerds Podcast.
And welcome to the Cigar Nerds Podcast. I'm your host, Smokin' Joe.
I'm Brad Jackson.
And happy Chinese New Year. What are we smoking this week, Brad?
So this week we have the Punch Year of the Dragon, a.k.a. the Dragonfire.
Dragonfire.
Which just sounds epic.
Yes.
Really dig the packaging and the labeling and everything else, the way they do
Yeah,
these.
this is part of Punch's yearly Chinese New Year cigar where they kind of theme it around like the Chinese New Year. In previous years, like the packaging has looked like Chinese takeout. This year, it's kind of like one of those octagonal like fireworks cases. And I've liked all the previous releases, but what's kind of cool about this one is it's bigger. I mean,
Yes.
usually most of them have been like little bitty cigars, where this one is a 60 ring gauge, but it's only like a 5
5 by
cigar.
60.
Yeah, so it's like a short Gordo. So it gives you a little bit more smoke than the previous ones.
Yeah, and this thing's going to sport a Mexican wrapper with fillers from Esteli, Nicaragua, the Dominican Republic, and Honduras.
With
and
a binder from Condega.
Yeah, that's
Just
the
had to get
thing
my
with Punch is
Mexican
they don't
accent in
really
there.
do too much Nicaraguan cigars, and this is a nice step, and I like the fact that it is a larger ring gauge.
Yeah, and
You
it
know,
being Year of
definitely
the
medium
Dragon,
plus.
The band on this thing is like awesome. It's like all shiny and shit, and got the dragon on it. And of course, like all the previous Chinese New Year releases, there is a fortune inside, like a fortune cookie. What did yours say? I haven't opened mine up yet.
So imagine, how deep the ocean could be without all those sponges. No, that's deep.
I think one I had the other day, it said like, if you're looking to a cigar band for life advice, you might want to rethink your priorities. True enough, cigar.
Appreciate the obvious.
Yeah. So, we're going to go from dragons to bees this episode, because we're going to be talking about the latest Statham action flick. Man, this coffee needs to kick in, because I can't fucking talk. I've been out in the cold all day.
Are you struggling right now? You
Maybe.
seem like you're struggling right now.
I got up early, went to the range, and did some shooting, so now, like,
Is that even coffee, or is that just straight whiskey?
yes.
Okay.
Take that what you will. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about the Beekeeper, and if you've got to fight off Jason Statham, you should probably call on the Strike Force. StrikeForceEnergy.com. Use your promo code Cigar Nerds for 20% off your order. Get you all jacked up on that caffeine, man. You might even fight a dragon if you get enough of it in you.
How intense would that be? Fighting a fucking dragon. That needs to be one of your science articles. I saw where scientists discovered dragon-like fossils.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I hadn't seen that one. It's the eye of the dragon. It's the
Fire of the Dragon?
Yeah, it's like the sequel to Eye of the Tiger. We get Fire of the Dragon. That's probably the sequel to whatever, the 10 Rings. But yeah, that's all we got to warm you up this week. We'll be right back with the main show. And welcome back to the show. It's time to do some horticulture. I was trying to think of the technical term for beekeeper, but I can't remember what they're actually called.
Yeah, I don't remember either. I used to know a guy that kept bees, and secretly, this makes me wonder, was there a organization out there somewhere, and I mean, he was almost as inconspicuous as Statham's character in this film, but I mean, at that time, there was no internet or anything, so, it was a lot easier to be, remain anonymous, I suppose.
See, now I'm looking up what you actually call a beekeeper.
A beekeeper.
Yeah, so Jason Statham, an apiarist. Is the technical name for or an apiculturalist.
I have never heard anyone use the scientific name growing up in the South.
Hey, man, that's old Pete with him bees. Yeah, so just as you thought he might be getting a little too old for this shit, Jason Statham's still beating ass.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things is, of course, they did try to work somewhat of a story into this, but, I mean, by and large, this is just your quintessential, action film.
A good thing you start kind of, I don't know, we're not into the summer movie season yet for another, probably, April, May is when, like, the big stuff kind of pops up, but it's a good, like, mindless action flick to start off, especially like right now. There is, because of all the strikes and shit, like we are hurting for content. There's not a whole lot of new movies out there in the world, so it was like,
well, I mean, there are, but at the same time, what was that about?
I don't know, man. You like
did we just have a power surge? Like that must have been a solar flare.
Yeah,
check your phone signal, make sure that our wireless devices are still working, I suppose.
Dude, I got the same freaking...
I wonder if it's the same on every cigar.
No, because I've had others that have different
okay.
ones. So, yeah, there's probably like... I think last year there was maybe 4 or 5 different... There wasn't like a whole bunch of different fortunes, so...
I mean, that's almost a good dad joke of a cigar. But, yeah, I mean...
That's when you come out with dad joke cigars. Each one has like just a dad joke under the label. General Cigar, if you're listening, just give us some credit on that one.
Kids, don't cut yourself. Let your fathers cut their cigars. Kid cutting yourself? Cut into a cigar.
You gotta cut it.
But, yeah, I mean, there has been things released, but nothing that's really struck me as, oh, man, I really have to see this.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like biographies and like more artsy movies that have come out, and some of them I think they kind of rushed them out because there was nothing else in the theaters. Like they were supposed to come out because like the Bob Marley movie coming out, and I expected that to be like a summer release because that's probably when we're doing a biofilm. It's got to be like Oscar worthy, but they're like, fuck, there's nothing in the theaters. Go ahead and get that shit out. We're not saving it for Oscar season.
I don't know. I actually heard good things about it. I'm not really the biggest reggae fan, but I've been known to jam some Marley tunes in my day.
Yeah, it's like I don't know what's like actually in theaters right now because it seems.
Well, I drove by the theater on the way here, and there were like 3 films.
Yeah, it was like they're re-releasing a lot of stuff like just because there's need something to fill the content. Like hell, this one was still in theaters, but it was already out for rental, but it was just staying in theaters because there wasn't nothing to replace it pretty much. So it's like, all right, I can pay $20 to go to the theater, or I can pay $20 and rent it on YouTube. And I'm like, yeah, fuck, I'm just going to rent it on YouTube.
God. $20 to fucking rent a film.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
we used to buy films for that.
It's still cheaper than going to the theater and buying popcorn and everything else. And,
oh yeah, we should totally make it a date night.
No one throws us out for drinking in the home theater.
Nah. Unless you're getting rowdy, I've never really had an issue. What people don't know happens in the dark. It's all good.
Speaking of which, I had some really good whiskey last weekend because I don't I'm a vacation drunk now. I don't drink as much as I used to, and I tried a Smoke Wagon Small Batch Reserve out of Las Vegas. That shit was good. It was like a nice, like, smoky bourbon. I got fucking ripped. There was some karaoke involved. I remember going to karaoke. I have no clue what I sung. I know there's a video of it. I have not brought myself to watch it yet. I talked to a guy the next day, and he's like, it wasn't good, but you were enthusiastic, so I had fun watching it. I'm like, yeah, that sounds about like my usual karaoke performance.
You would be a great entertainer. We were very entertained. You're not going to make it as a lead singer, though, unfortunately.
That and somehow I teleported because I went to bed on, like, one side of the bed, and I woke up on the other side of the bed. And I'm like, confused. I'm like, I didn't go to bed here. I went to bed over there.
Amanda's like, you're pissing me off, and just fucking rolls you, like...
It's pretty much, like, I was like, I don't remember. Didn't I go to bed over there? She's like, yeah, you rolled to like the middle of the damn bed and had your like arm across my head. And when I got to go to the bathroom, you just rolled the rest of the way over and I couldn't move you. So I just switched sides when I came back. All right, that makes sense now. I was confused for a minute.
So, you truly woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
I'm like, yeah, this isn't my phone. Wait a minute. How did I get here?
Where am I right now?
I remember making it back to the room, but yeah, I don't remember how I ended up on that side of the bed.
That's the beauty of hotels. There's a lot of rooms to choose from.
Yeah, I was like, at least I stopped before I, kept going on and ended up in the floor on that side of the bed. I at least only like rolled over to like the other side. I didn't like keep going till I fell off. Hashtag cotton life. Oh,
I love how, like, we're going from, yeah, let's talk about this great action film, to be like, try this whiskey. Hey, I went to a con.
If it wasn't for side quests, there'd be no quest at all. But yes, The Beekeeper, directed by David Ayer, starring Jason Statham. Yeah, so basically, it's
the hive, man. It's the hive.
John Wick with bees.
It's like, no, it truly is. Instead of my dog, you killed my bees.
And my friend. At least he had a human he was getting vengeance for. So yes, apparently...
I don't know, dude. Like, that situation, yeah, absolutely, with the human, but I don't know. You fuck with my dog, I'm, like...
I mean, he did kind of step it up, because he's like, all right, I'm going to go fuck up all these people that, like, stole money from my friend, but then they came and destroyed my bees, so now I'm going to have to kill everybody. I was going to just let you off with this one ass-kicking, but now that you've killed my bees, I'm going to have to take down your entire organization.
Like, how do we become beekeepers? Like, I feel like that's something that, like, a lifelong, I mean, because, dude, they threw all kinds of fucking people at them. Everything from, cartel members to, former operators, rangers, and shit like that. SEALs, like...
Yeah, the weird-ass, like, Australian mercenaries.
Like...
And we're all on steroids and wearing Hawaiian shirts. I'm like, all right, you can tell those... It's like a video game. You can tell which characters are playing for which team.
So if we wear Hawaiian shirts, are we badass?
That's why I collect Hawaiian shirts. I've got a Cigar Nerds Hawaiian shirt.
I have a few in my collection.
So yeah, basically, apparently there's like a super secret government agency that's outside the chain of command that whenever basically society is threatened with they restore balance to the world. So they're kind of independent operators that don't really answer to anyone. They just this certain organization is doing something that may threaten the world. We're just gonna go fuck them up. And he has retired, and the code name because they protect the hive is the Beekeepers. But apparently, they're actually also good at beekeeping. So he retires to the middle of nowhere to grow bees and make honey. And he's renting a barn from a nice old lady, played by Felicia Rashad, which I've not seen in forever. You may know her from The Cosby Show back in the day. She was, Mrs. Cosby, before all the rape and stuff. Back when that was a good show.
What has happened to society?
And of all the villains we can face, it's not international terrorists or drug dealers. It's fucking internet scammers. Like, I was like, that is actually an interesting plot device. That it's like the people that are... And I don't know how real that world is, but it looked pretty fucking believable. This is how these like call centers of scammers playing on the elderly, and she's like, they basically hit her computer with a ransomware attack. When she calls IT to fix it, their IT, and hack all her shit and steal all her money. including she's like on the board of some charity for like little kids because she's a retired school teacher, and they stole like $2 million from her freaking charity, and just out of guilt she kills herself. And of course, the beekeeper finds her and figures out kind of what happened by checking her, I guess, her computer eventually. And so he's like,
but not to mention,
time to go.
He finds the body, but the FBI daughter just happens to be there at the same time.
Yeah, he just happened to walk in around, and I like how because he's like, I'm just a beekeeper, and they're like, so he's like, so what were you doing here? My mom's, and he's like, well, I was supposed to meet her for dinner. I observed the lights out, and I could hear the fire alarm going off, so I made entry, and it was very like cop speak the way and then he's like, you observed this and you made entry. Are you former law enforcement or military? No, I'm just a beekeeper. And I'm like, dude, you're speaking like a professional. You're kind of blowing your cover there, homie.
Collect honey.
I have a particular set of bees.
But what if they're not bees? What if they're just drones?
And, the first kind of reveal that he isn't what he says he is, opens up the hive and he's got a freaking sat phone in a Faraday bag hidden inside his hive, which it's a great fucking place to hide something you don't want fucked with, because like who the hell is going to like stick their hand in a beehive to like, look for shit?
I don't know, dude. Like I've seen people relocate bees and like, they'll just reach in and, gradually grab like 2 handfuls of bees, and I guess as long as you don't make any sudden movements or anything, like by and large honeybees are kind of chillax, but
yeah, as long as they're not, hornets are just angry fuckers. And
I guess it's the
yellow jackets
pheromones
too.
Like the fear and what other anxiety or whatever,
I
so
guess.
as long as you're cool, calm, and collected, like the bees are going to be cool and calm as long as you don't like fucking threaten them.
Yeah, and you got your little smokers to
except yellow jackets and wasps.
Yeah,
they're on a whole
they're
nother
just
level.
assholes.
Yes. They're not doing anything.
Oh, fucking hornets and shit. Yeah, when he goes in, like the first time you see him is like he's going in like clearing a hornet nest out of the barn, and he's like comes back with like a bag of fucking hornets. She's like, "Is that all?" And she's like, "Yeah, I got him." And she's like, "What are you gonna do to him?" "Well, I think that's just between me and them." She's like, "Yeah, probably." And like the way he killed, like instead of just like squishing the bag, he's like fucking tases him. I was like, just puts like a light bulb in the bag and like breaks it, and then like takes like a fucking stun gun and hits it to the thing and just like fries them all in the bag. I was like, never seen anyone kill bees or hornets like that. That's kind of cool. Don't tase me, bro.
I don't know. I can remember shooting, like they'd build on a corner of a garage, so we were, 40 yards away or so. We'd shoot them with a pellet rifle, and
those things will fucking follow it back too. They're like,
oh yeah, dude. Like as soon as you let go, of the ramp, like your ass better already. Like that's why we were no more than like 5 feet from the door.
Yeah. Oh, my grandpa took out some hornets one time. We had a chicken house, and he just like mixed a 5-gallon bucket full of like diesel fuel and stuff and set it like right underneath the hornet's nest, and like got way back and like shot it, and like fucking a big fireball comes up and just toasts the he's like, I ain't getting near that fucker.
I got the hornets, but we might have lost the chicken house.
Oh,
like, I mean, we would do that with like especially the underground yellow jacket nest, wait till evening, little 20-ounce bottles, some gasoline, and shove it in their hole.
Homemade napalm.
Yeah, we never lit it or anything, just let the fumes do the work. But
lighting it's half the fun. Then you see all like you get like little geysers of fire throughout the yard. Anywhere there's like an exit to the to the nest, it's kind of wild. Unless I've seen videos where like people put like a shitload of gas, and then it's like apparently it was a pretty big cavern underneath there, and it just like looked like somebody set a grenade off in their yard, just blew a big ass hole in the yard. Because you don't know, like the gas fume is like more explosive than like the liquid gas.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean that's the most flammable part is the fumes, because if it wasn't for the fumes and you drop the match in liquid, it's gonna, extinguish. But it's the fumes that ignite.
I had a friend that tried to burn an old dresser one time, covered it in gas, and then threw a match at it, and like the buildup of fumes in the drawers exploded, and like one of the drawers like shot out and like hit him in the chest and knocked him on his ass. It was like a fucking rocket going off. It's like fuckers and tannerite.
That's a big boom.
So yeah, that whole like phishing scam set up inside like some kind of like tech building. He just like rolls up like in his like old beat up, truck with like a couple gallons of cans of gas, and like security guys like he's like, is this whatever technologies, and he's like, you're gonna have to leave. I'm gonna count to 5. He's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There, we're done. And then like kicks the shit out of the security guards. And just goes into like the receptionist. Yeah, if there's anyone here that's not part of X company, you should go ahead and tell them to leave. There's going to be a fire. Oh, just like rolls in and starts dumping gas on all. He's like, all right, repeat after me. I will never scam anyone again, and you can leave. And they all start laughing. He's like, okay, just starts pouring gas on everyone, all the computers, and they're like, oh shit. And then he's like, repeat it. And they're like, yeah, we'll never scam anyone again. Until like the douchebag like boss guy comes in and with like the security guys, and he just like fucks them up.
Did you get Bam Margera vibes? Young Bam Margera vibes from the one owner?
The first guy, or the guy who actually owned the company, the son?
The son.
Yeah, a little bit. Like just rich kid douchebag nearly that he's like, fucking, and he's got like, so basically his handler of the company is a former CIA director, and this kid had basically stolen or acquired a computer program that was designed by the CIA to like track down terrorists. Well, he's using it to track down vulnerable people that have money, and now he's using all these call centers to call and scam people out of their money, and he's got them like set up like all over the world and shit.
Hey, cigar nerds, I want to talk to you about your car's extended warranty. Fuck off.
Yeah, and it's like, because I've back when I was a cop, like I worked a couple cases where like people had gotten ripped off, and it's like, yeah, that like this is the way they like just talked her out of her money. And
well, not only that,
you would think, and you're like, I don't know, I guess it's this the older generation, because like I've seen the scam multiple times where someone will call him like, hey, this is your grandson, I've gotten arrested in like Mexico, I need you to like wire me some money to pay my bond. And they don't even like call their family to confirm that that's who they're speaking with. And it's like, I don't know why it's so, if I don't know, older generation is more trusting, but yeah, it's like how they kind of conned her.
Well,
like,
I mean, it's just like, you get a call and it says, for Forsyth County Sheriff's Office, and it's like, hey, there's been a warrant issued for your arrest, we need, $400 or something to make this, and it's like, that's never going to happen in real life.
Yeah.
Like, if you got a warrant, somebody's going to come knock on your door. Like,
yeah. We had one time those, because half of them are out of India, I would say. One of those callers like, oh yes, this is so and so, and we've got warrants for your arrest, and you need to, and we're like, they called the police department. Yeah. Because like I said, I guess they just picked numbers at random, and we're like, no, that's not real. Yeah, I'm with so and so. Like, dude, you called a police department. And they're like, bye, click.
I don't know. I think they just have, like, you had like the roller dialer things back in the day. Like,
or the African Prince emails.
Yeah. Yes, I am going to leave $50 bazillion I just need one small donation of 1,000.
Yeah, or you would always, if you were trying to sell something on like Craigslist, pre Facebook Marketplace, it'd always be someone, hey, I'll send you the money, but I can't. I'm going to send too much. Can you like cash this and send me back like the remainder? I accidentally sent too much money. We're like, no, you're full of shit. That's
Yeah, that or the ones where it's like, hey, we're your utility company. Send us gift cards. It's like, what?
yeah, the gift card.
But I
one
mean,
is-
I have seen some really legitimate ones. Like, there was some emails going around pretending to be Wells Fargo and stuff. And I mean, if you really didn't, if you just glanced and clicked the link.
Yeah, because we get like phishing scam alerts all the time, at my company, and you'll see some that'll be like, because I always send out like, hey, if you get this email, ignore it, but yeah, it looks like it's coming from the company or from the boss, and it's like once you like kind of hover over the email, it's like not the actual email that you see in the thing, and it's like, but yeah, at this point maybe I'm the minority, but I'm like, I don't trust anything. I always verify everything that
That's really the best way to be. Like,
yeah.
hey, this is your banking institution. You know what I'm going to do? Hang up the phone call and call the banking institution. I'm not calling the number that called me.
But homeboy like kind of reminded me of a evil Steve Jobs or something, where he's like in the midst of conning her, but giving a demonstration to all his guys. He's like, you got to stay on the script, but don't stay on the script so much that you sound robotic. You got to, he's like, so first I'm going to, hit her with sympathy. Oh my God, I screwed this up. Yeah, I'm gonna lose my job. I got kids. He's like, I ain't got no fucking kids. And then kicks back. It's just like,
But, I mean, and a lot of that is just, like, realistically, like, I've worked for marketing firms, and, I mean, it was almost that way. Like, it was all about building that relationship and that little bit of trust in that short time, and, like, yeah, here's you a blank check, do all of my things. And it's like, I got you.
Yeah, like I can.
I mean, granted, we were offering a legit service, but
yeah, because I've been to some of those like my brief stint as a car salesman, some of those like sales classes and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm not corrupt enough to be a salesman. It's like just like the psychology of like conning someone is very close to the psychology of selling someone a legitimate product, convincing somebody to buy something they don't fucking need for way more than they want to spend. It's the same thing except legal instead of illegal.
Well, I mean,
ish.
I've seen some shady car deals go down. I mean, I'm sure it's still around, but it's not as bad as I think it once was. Like, that's a weird thing for me. Like, people that are going to make big purchases and stuff and have done no prior research or anything else, and just like, that guy's there to make money. He's not necessarily there to consult you.
Salesmen are never your friends.
Like, I'll be your sales consultant, for the sake of how big my commission can be.
Yeah. So yeah, the next level up guy is like tells his guy that Statham just burned down his fucking building. Like he's like, hey, I'm gonna send you kind of the list of the people y'all have been stealing from for the last track them down, find out who this guy is. You're like fucking hire some mafia guys, go kick his ass, and they of course like find him keeping his bees, and then fucking he gets buck wild, like cuts off homeboy's like fingers and shit, and then like basically follows him until he calls for help. So he could like, get the phone to track, the next step up the chain. But then just like tying him to his truck and then just driving his ass off off the bridge and then taking his truck. And I was like, nice. That's how most of these scammers need to be treated.
Yes, absolutely.
And then, of course, once he finds out his people's gone, he's like, goes to talk to his, I thought it was his dad, but apparently it was just like, his handler. And he's like, yeah, this guy fucked up all my dudes. He's like, well, who is he? What is he? He's like, said he's a beekeeper. A beekeeper? And he's like, dude, like, that's not just a beekeeper. He's like a fucking elite assassin. That he's like, so let me call all my, CIA Black Ops guys and put together like a bunch of SEAL team guys. Like, he's probably heading to your next like biggest call center. Like, we'll just set a trap for him. And I'm like, he's like brings all those guys. He's like, yeah, you guys are SEAL Team 6, Army Rangers, yada yada. You're all basically pussies compared to this guy. So he could kill any one of you. So maybe all you together stand a chance. Like, good luck. But I like how he's having to come across like legitimate law enforcement and cops and shit, and he's very careful to only kill the people that are working for the bad guys. Like, he's like, I'll get you out of my way.
But I still kind of feel like, there's grounds for assault there or something, like
he's definitely committing some violence, but he's not doing anything permanent. But yeah, I like they're all like, the mercenaries kick the FBI SWAT team like out of the building, so they're like, all right, we'll just set up a perimeter, and they're like, all right, we've blocked these locations and these locations. There's no way in but here. And he just comes like walking right up to him. He's like, yeah, if there was another way in, I would have taken it. And they're like, what? You're the guy we're looking for. He's like, tell you what, these guys are all scumbags. Why don't y'all just let me in and there'll be no problems? And they're like, sorry, can't do that. And he's like, yeah, I figured as much, but I figured I'd give the fireman a break. And just like beats the shit out of all these FBI SWAT guys, but doesn't do any like permanent damage other than like one guy gets his finger broken and, waltzes in. But yeah, I like when like the daughter who's kind of leading the manhunt for him like shows up and she's like, are you everybody all right? No one like killed? And he's like, nah, no one killed, but we got the shit kicked out of us.
Like, that's always kind of, I don't know, that's, I get it. It was a mindless action film for what it was, but I'm like, there's a whole lot of people in one dude. Like, if these people just did a coordinated attack, like if there's 4 guys, like, why does everybody each wait their turn? Like, just fucking rush and, Oh,
yeah, after he, kills, before he even gets to that second building, the CIA guy calls basically the current beekeepers, and he's like, hey, what's up with this guy? He's like, he's retired, and he's like, fucking up my shit. Can y'all like handle your guy? So they send the current beekeeper, who's got a badass truck with a fucking minigun in the back, and just tries to ambush him at a gas station.
I just love fucking Captain Obvious there too, and it's like, damn, that's like one of the guns the army would use.
Yeah, like, he of course like fucks her up, takes her finger so he can go like raid her like stash house full of supplies before he moves on to his next thing.
He need to re-up on bees, man.
Yeah, but they're like, well, how do we know this is like some other kind of government thing? And they're like, let me show you one thing. And like the burned out truck, there's like a fucking minigun in the back of it. And he's like, yeah, this isn't like regular gangster shit here. Oh, and I like the when he goes in there to blow up the next building and kind of find out, all right, who's the next man up the line in charge, and he's like fucking torturing like that guy call center's leader with like a stapler. Just keeps slapping him in the face, and he's like, I can make the stop at any time. Oh, but yeah, one of his tricks, he's like builds like wires up this thing with like some kind of like Kevlar like unbreakable wire. So, and then runs into the elevator. So they follow him into the elevator, and he just like cuts the wire, and they're like, oh fuck. So they all try to get out of the elevator, but when the elevator drops, that cord like snatches everybody else up that got out of the elevator and jerks them all into the shaft and just like fucks all of the mercenaries up. I was like, damn, that's pretty fucking cool.
Hey,
I mean, one guy got decapitated.
It's very important to understand rigging.
Yeah, he's a bad mother rigger. Oh. Yeah, but of course, Homeboy reveals the identity of the leader. Turns out this conspiracy goes all the way to the top, because he is the president's son. And apparently this president got elected using scam money. Not to her knowledge, apparently. But, yeah, so he's like, Mommy, can I come hide out at your beach house with my mercenaries? Because this dude's coming to kill all of us.
And that part was kind of ridiculous, too. Like, leader of the free world, there would be a much bigger Secret Service presence. Right? Like...
You would think. Even at, like, Camp David, where they have, normally have... But then again, they're... her shady dealings, they're like, all right, all you guys kind of step outside.
And I love how she... Yeah, you can have your friends over, but no drugs.
Yeah, she walks in and he's hitting a vape pen and she's like, is that nicotine or something else? She's like, well, unless you want to, like, see the dragons, I wouldn't suggest it. Like fucking DMT or some shit.
I have dragon fire in my lungs.
Yeah, and then the FBI director comes in and, like, tells her what's actually going on, that her son's really been up to, and he's like, yeah, that's how you got elected, Mom. I paid for your campaign by scamming motherfuckers and using CIA software. And then he looks at the FBI director and goes, but you didn't hear that.
Just remember, 3 people can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead.
And by the end of it, 2 of them are dead. Spoilers. Oh. But yeah, I like the little mini boss battle when he's like, brings in his like mercenary team that are like crazy Australian guys, like in Hawaiian shirts and fucking MP7s and shit. He's like, I killed a beekeeper once. I got real fucking lucky.
What did he lose, his leg or something?
Yeah, because like later on when he finally, like, we get to the mini boss battle where Statham's fighting him in a hallway, he kicks the motherfucker's leg off at one point. And I'm like, oh shit. I think he even beat him with it too. I'm like, beat a motherfucker with his own leg.
Like, can you not just call timeout? Be like, hey.
All right, put your leg back on.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the balls on him when he like gets into the party, and he's not even like hiding. He's like, he sneaks in disguised as like a Secret Service guy, but then like I'm just a dude in a suit now, just walking around the party, and just
hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah. But yeah, that whole like extended fight sequence, gunfight, it was still cool that he's keeping up that like, oh, you're a Secret Service guy, I'm just gonna like knock you out or shoot you in the leg. Oh, mercenary, I get to kill you. It's like just very careful to only kill those that need killing. Because that final battle was like a fucking video game, just like working his way up the food chain all the way to the main boss. I mean, it's basically some John Wick shit, but yeah.
I think this, there's definitely some Hollywood magic with John Wick, but they do try to at times, make it, sort of realistic, where this was just like you said, this was just action video game, like not a whole lot of one-liners, just
violence.
Outside of the freaking FBI agent and her semi-quasi, but we're the good guys. Wait, maybe we're not so good. Oh,
I do like when, like, after he fucked up the beekeeper, when like the CIA guy tried to call the beekeepers to take care of their own, they're like, yeah, we're gonna stay neutral on this. Y'all are on your own. Like, we tried once. We're not wasting any more assets. We're gonna be neutral on this one. And like, the daughter FBI agents like finds one of them's books on bees and like reading. She's like, like these bees actually pretty interesting. And she's like, they have what they call it, the queen killer. Like, if the bees like think the queen is producing defective offspring, they will actually rise up and kill the queen and replace her. And she's like, so I think at this point, like, he may actually kill the president because, you know, of how fucked up her son is.
How many people know about this? Just us, sir. Keep it that way. How did that work? You ended up dead.
Yeah, because...
You know, by a crack fiend.
Yeah, because, like, you know, fucking dude's all cracked out of his mind because he's, like, knows he's gonna die. He's kind of like the gangster son in John Wick, you know. He's, like, just like, I fucked up something I shouldn't have fucked up with, and now, like, you know, and, you know, once the president finds out what all's actually going on, she's like, I'm just gonna tell him the truth, that, like, yeah, like, I will confess my crimes, and hopefully he doesn't, you know, fucking kill us all. So her son, like, you know, shoots the FBI director and tries to hold mommy hostage, but yeah, doesn't stop Statham. But yeah, that fight scene with him and, like, the main fucking mercenary guy kicks homeboy's leg off. I don't know who that actor is, but he was funny as shit. I want to see him in more stuff. I mean, he was just like, he's like a ridiculous video game character. He was just over the top, like, that weird accent, and
like, this almost could very well be adapted to a game.
Yeah.
But I want to be the bees. I want to run around stinging people.
Like, for us, that's not. I mean, there's games now where you play as the monster and hunt
Yes.
the survive. That's gonna be the next, you know, big.
I mean, there's
Greek
Goat
game where you
Simulator.
play the-
Can we get, you know, Bee Simulator or something and be like, yes, sting all the things.
And, you know, for a movie that kind of just snuck into the theaters, budget was $40 million. It's made $150 million so far. So
Nothing with Statham's name tied to it just sneaks in, okay? Like,
well, I mean, it was like one of those. It's like it came out in a time where wasn't a whole lot going on, and it wasn't like, I mean, I saw a couple trailers for it, but it wasn't like a Transporter or another Expendables or these like big action franchises he's been doing. It's kind of more to his smaller action stuff. Like, I could almost expect this to be like a direct-to-video movie, because, you know, Statham's getting up there in age. You know, hell, that last Expendables movie, fucking Stallone barely did anything in it. It was all like basically another Jason Statham movie. So he's like, motherfucker is not slowing down whatsoever. He's still beating ass and taking names. So you think this gets I mean, it made a decent amount of money. You think we get could be a one-off, or are we going to get like a sequel? He, you know, finds some other, you know, comes out of retirement and starts kind of independently beekeeping again.
I don't know about a sequel per se. I mean,
they wrapped up this story pretty well,
yeah,
but he
like,
could, you know, take on some other, you know,
entity or something.
kind of like was it the Denzel movies? The the one where he's like an ex-hitman or something, that's like random Equalizer, where it's like each movie it's like a different like criminal he's equalizing. So they're, you know, the only kind of connection between the films.
I don't know if you can
is
compare
him.
this to Equalizer though.
But I mean, it could be that same thing where it's like each movie is like almost a standalone movie,
self-contained,
other
like,
than, you know, the main character. Yeah, so, you know, he could show up and fuck up some other random organization next movie.
the bees have gone international. 'Cause, I mean, I think that's the thing. Like, you know, there's not really a...
Because when he hacked that phone, it was like call centers like all over the world. So he could like just start continuing, you know, if killing the head man didn't disable this organization, you know, he could definitely pop up and take on some more scammers in other countries. Because he does survive. He, you know, gets it. Like, he has that kind of like, the CIA guy finally like stops him before he's like, you know, he's like prepping the door to make a ballistic entry, and he's like, you don't have to do this, like you've done enough. And he's like, you know, because of guys like you, like, I've got to deal with people like this, like, you know, you should have stopped all this. I expect him to fuck him up, but he's just like, no, dude, old man, kind of piss off, let me do my business.
No, it was more like, I'm disappointed. Like, oh, that hurts a lot
Yes.
more than just...
And I always like seeing Jeremy Irons in movies. He's always a cool dude, whether he's like, you know, fighting John McClane or playing Alfred. Like he's a great fucking actor. And, you know, it's like weird seeing him in random action movies. But yeah, when he busts in there and it's like, dude tries to hold his mom hostage and he just like fucking hip draws and pops him in the face and like jumps out the window and doesn't kill the president. You know, he's like, all right, I just came for him. You're good, ma'am. And, you know, an FBI lady gets the draw on him and he just kind of looks at her and she's like, get the fuck out of here. Like, thanks for killing all the fuckers that, like, you know, caused my mom to die.
Almost gave me Fast and the Furious vibes, you know.
Hobbs and Shaw.
No, I mean, even before that, you know, when Brian was a cop and he lets, you know, Dom off and like...
Yeah, because he's like, you've done all this because you were friends with my mom and I, being a legal entity, can't do this. So, yeah, you did what needed to be done, whether it was legal or not. Because even when she's like there trying to protect the president, like she sees like the mercenaries is going to fucking execute him in the... Yeah, in the party, and she's like, "This is not what we do. We're cops." And he's like, "It's not what y'all do. Like, it's what we do." And she's like, kind of like, "Oh shit, do I have to like now save his ass from these fuckers?" But he's like, you know,
I think he's capable of
saves his own ass.
I think I'm gonna take a bite out of this shit sandwich with a smile on my face.
Oh,
for the bees.
And then
bees on the trap.
All right, my question is, he had this whole elaborate way of getting in there by, you know, hiding in the vehicle and shit. How did he get there to bury the scuba suit, like, before? Like, how did he set up his, like, exit strategy before this even started?
The bees, man.
He's got some trained bees that'll bury a scuba suit on the beach outside the compound. It was very terminalist, which is, you know, completed his mission, and now I'm going to disappear into the sea.
I'm going to go join Luke on this island so we can be old men together.
I'm going to grow bees on an island. Island bees.
I mean, you haven't had honey till you had that tropical honey.
Don't want some more of that spicy honey I got at the Renfest. That jalapeno honey was some good shit.
I thought it was habanero.
Oh, yeah, it was habanero. It was some kind of... Yeah, because at this point, jalapenos don't do anything for me.
I don't know, man. I got a hold of some fresh ones last year, and those, for jalapenos, they're the hottest jalapenos I've ate. Like,
I got some of those. Went to Walmart the other day, and I got some of the pre-made Hot Ones brand chicken wings.
Yeah,
they come with Los Calientes sauce. It's some spicy shit. And it wasn't that hot when I ate them the first time, but I let them sit, like, because I couldn't eat the whole bag, so like I finished it like the next day. And
yeah,
I was
dude.
like, woo! It had gone up a notch after the second time I tried it.
You know, just making homemade sauce with, you know, Frank's Red Hot and melted butter and a little bit of cayenne and stuff. Like, you know, really good that first night, but you reheat them the next day, and I don't know, the dynamic changes a little bit. Like, there's nothing in here that's supposed to be that hot, like, but these are stingy.
Like bees.
I don't know. I wanted to buy one of the Hot Ones sets that had, you know, a variety of the sauces, because, you know, I've tried the end, and, you know, I would like to try some of the more flavorful, you know, meant to be enjoyed sauces.
Yeah, Los Calientes is not bad. That's the only one of their brand I've had. And yeah, some of those ones, it's like, it hurts, but it tastes good. But then there's some that they just hurt.
I'm not about that life. Sort of, kind of. I mean, you know, if we're doing shit for kicks and giggles or whatever, but, you know, that's one thing. But, like, we fucking did the Braveheart wings. I just did like 5 of them, you know, at fucking Wild Wing, and I was like, the problem is, like, they're hot as fuck and they taste like shit. Like, Like, there's nothing about that world that I enjoyed, you know?
Yeah, it's just like, a challenge. Challenge wings are never like, tasty. There's like, this is going to hurt. I'm going to be a man by suffering, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I powered through the 5 just because I was like, fucking paid for the things. Like, gotta eat them, I guess. Can't let them go to waste. Like, nobody else at the table wanted them.
So, where do you think this movie stacks up on the Jason Statham list?
You know, for what it is, it's up there for me. Like, the action sequences and, everything else were choreographed pretty well. I mean, there was a variety of, hand-to-hand plus weaponry and...
Some nice gruesome kills here and there. Like, hits one homegirl with, like, can of, or jar of honey and then lights it on fire. Is like, who knew honey was flammable?
I mean, it is definitely not Expendables. I mean, which that's just a franchise of its own,
It's definitely not a transporter film. Like I said, I'd say Expendables and Transporter is like top 2 Statham vehicles. Transporter.
I thought you were going to make a Fast and the Furious reference.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good thing that, he came from the Fast and the Furious franchise. He learned to drive a car, so there was that.
So I wonder if, like, to be a beekeeper, is that, like, part of your training? It's like, all right, we're going to teach you how to fight and shoot, and we're also going to teach you how to take care of bees for because we got to stay on brand.
I think that's just kind of the
signature. Or do you just have
cause,
bees first, and then you get into, like, the murder and
because when he,
whatnot.
Showed up to Homegirl's, hideout, like, he pulls up, you see the bee box, and then he goes in. It's like,
yeah, when they tear up her car apart, like, they find, like, a bee manual, like, in her car too. It's like, she's got something else in common with our guy. Book on beekeeping. It's like, yeah, do they find beekeepers and then train them to be badasses, or is beekeeping part of their badass training?
I
all need a hobby. We have to stay on brand.
Well, I think it's, also too, not necessarily from branding, but just like, hey, when you're not out there doing this thing, you're doing,
I mean, it is a lifestyle of, like, you can work alone. No one's gonna really fuck with you because most people are like, I don't want to fuck with bees.
That was a crazy thing. Like, driving out in, Montana and out west and shit. Like, there would just be a big ass field with like 20 or 30 bee boxes, but dude, you don't see any houses for like 40 miles or more. Like, I'm like, I don't know who's maintaining these bee boxes, but
I mean, there's a house in Cumming that has a bunch of bee boxes in the yard. I'm like, I wonder what kind of beekeepers they are.
Well, there's only one way to find out. Hey, can I invite you for dinner?
Yeah. Honey's pretty good, but you ever killed a man?
Your honey has this red tint to it, like
blood honey. This is like, he never killed anybody with the bees, though. I mean,
he's not fucking Candyman.
Hey, we've said him twice so far tonight. We can't say it again. But yeah, I would like to have seen them, use them. He's got, like, they're remote controlling. Hit a button and, like, the bees are trained to attack.
No, I mean,
it's like Ratcatcher in Suicide Squad. Is that he, like, controls the bees?
I don't know. I think what would have been funny is, the guys that showed up to destroy, his bee boxes. The bees just start retaliating, and these 4 fucking, supposed to be badass dudes just start screaming like little schoolgirls from getting...
Yeah, they just gun down the beehives with AKs. Like, I was waiting for the swarm just to, like, go into their car and start stinging the shit out of them. We found the bees' one weakness, AK-47s. Oh, the fucker that was leading the, whatever, I guess, Boston... call center office, his suit too, that fucking weird ass money suit he I was like, All right, that's a pretty nice suit, dude. That's
Dude,
what we should wear to your
used to
wedding.
be in like every party city at Halloween. You remember that? Like
Yes.
way back in the day.
It's like the fucking purple pimp suits you'd always see at Halloween.
Yeah, they call me Mr. Moneybags. I don't know. I was kind of waiting to find out that the Beekeeper organization, itself had, become somehow corrupt and like
Yeah.
that be like, oh shit, like they're on the take.
Or is that the sequel? They're like, all right, we got to take him out because he damn near killed the president. And it's him on the run from the beekeeping organization.
But at the same time, like, if the president is corrupt, like, what, like, if, okay, well, you've reached this level of political office, you're granted immunity, you're, like, there's no accountability at that point. Like, that defeats the entire purpose of the organization then.
Yeah, well, at least the FBI knows what's really going on. So it's I definitely think she's gonna get impeached at the least.
You can't tell me that organization isn't corrupt.
No, they're pretty much all corrupt,
Anybody in that fucking federal political is all on the kind of the same.
I can see
equal level of
Homegirl
shit to me.
releasing all the information to like the media or some shit, and yeah, she's probably gonna have to retire after this. The president. In a perfect world, but probably not. She'll probably get away with it. Or Statham's still out there. Maybe he just releases all the information to the news organizations so she can't hide it.
Yeah, I don't know. This series, sort of wrapped up. I mean, I guess it would have been interesting to be like, oh, okay, well, she stepped down, and then, who steps up, in their place, and
Yeah, is the VP just as corrupt?
everybody that's been a career politician is on the fucking take, okay?
All politicians are cunts.
That's just my take. I don't argue, right or left. I just say fuck them all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like they're all pretty bad at this point. So what do you think of this here Dragonfire?
I like it. It's medium plus. Woody,
And usually
oaky.
these aren't expensive. This was like $7.80. Like they make a good, like, kind of cheap, and it's not. I mean, this one's probably the biggest version yet, so you can get a good hour smoke out of it. But it is a good, like, if you ain't got a lot of time, but you want more than like some of the, like, the firecrackers or some of the small egg rolls size that they used to make. Which that first one that came out with the egg roll I really liked, and like I said, this one's, I like that that Mexican wrapper.
Yeah, I mean it's got a good little bit of an espresso flavor to it.
I'm definitely gonna smoke the shit out of these before they run out.
Yeah, and that is the thing about these is they are a limited release, but just how limited I guess remains to be seen. But
Usually they stick around for at least a few months.
this isn't one like that's kind of the thing about Punch, like and I guess I was guilty of this. It's like, oh, I see Punch at a gas station, and I'm like, man, no, I'm not buying a gas station cigar. But then, I started, with the Signature series, and then the Diablos, and a lot of their other special release, and I'm like, there's some good quality.
Fucking price on the Diablos have gone up too. Goddamn inflation. Fucking politicians making me spend more on my cigars. Because that was like a $10 smoke when it first came out. Now like the El Diablo side's gone up to like $12.40. It's like every year it goes up more and more. It's like, God damn it, this is turning into like a fucking premium cigar.
But I don't know. I mean that's kind of the thing. Like this is a great sub $10 cigar. I got no complaints about it.
Yeah, because even the knuckle dusters, they're other cheap cigars. Like it's kind of one of my regular cigars especially if I don't want to spend a whole lot of money that night. It's like, it's one that I'm not going to be too sad about if I'm busy and I have to toss it because it's a sub $10 cigar.
Yeah, I mean, I used to love challenging myself to be like, hey, what do you enjoy? I bet I can find something sub $10, and that's.
It's getting harder and harder the way the prices keep going up.
Like your options become significantly more limited the more that.
Now it's like we're gonna find you a
taxes
good
on
sub $15
and...
cigar because everything's getting up there. Even the Signature series is above $10 cigars now. They're like 11 for like the 660s. So yeah, it's like my cheap cigars keep getting less and less cheap. But Punch usually at least has a couple in the wheelhouse that they try to maintain that sub $10 price tag on. But yeah, they make some damn good cigars. I find more and more of my like kind of regular smokes being Punch or CAO. And even the CAO has gone way up of what they
well, I mean,
originally.
That's just across the board. I mean, the same things happened with my father and, everything else too.
We're going to have to start making YouTube money just to afford to smoke. Go watch our YouTube channel.
Smash that like button. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Leave a comment.
What all the YouTubers say. Well, that's all we got for you on the Beekeeper. We're going to be right back with some science. And you've been watching the Cigar Nerds podcast. Check us out on cigarnerdpodcast.com and on the ESO Network, esonetwork.com. And don't forget, smoke them if you got them. Like, comment, and subscribe.